I'd like to talk about your album a lot, but before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about playing with Sam Bush and about how the announcement kind of came right before COVID, and
Yeah.
and I guess you just started playing again. So how is it being out there? Did you play Telluride with him?
I just did. I got back on Sunday night from Telluride with Sam, which was amazing. This year, it was at 25% capacity. So instead of 10,000 people, it was 2,500 people for 2 weekends.
Uh-huh.
So I missed my first, what would have been my first Telluride with Sam last summer. Because of COVID, but I guess I made up for it with two Telluride sets on the main stage. This one, which was incredible. I mean, it's it's hard to put into words what being on that stage with that band means to me. I mean, when I graduated high school, my dad and I went on a trip to Telluride. That was my dad's graduation present to me, which is certainly a very privileged gift. But we went together, before I went to college, and I saw the house band for the first time. The house band is Bela and Jerry Douglas, Edgar Meyer, Brian Sutton, Stuart Duncan, and Sam. I saw them for the first time that time, and it certainly was not lost on me, you know, what it is to be on that stage with Sam and with the Sam Bush band. So yeah, it's pretty surreal.
That's cool. It's a great story. How do you? What's this? Is he when he plays playing partially electric when with you?
Yeah,
And do you
yeah.
play an electric banjo with that? How do you deal with
Yeah,
that?
well, so most of the set is on an acoustic banjo, and we can talk about how I even make that possible, considering the band is as loud as it is on
Uh-huh.
stage and out front. But the sort of last, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes of a typical set is the whole band goes electric, and my solution to that has been. I'm playing a Japanese Telecaster that Robin Smith, actually, who passed away not too long ago. Was a really amazing banjo luthier here in Nashville, and a long-standing friend of mine. Um, the last time I saw him, he carved the neck of this Telecaster into a banjo neck for me.
Wow.
Right before I left for the longest tour that I've done so far with the Sam Bush Band, which was in February and March of 2020. We played 14 shows out to Colorado and back, leaving from Nashville, and I got to play that new instrument. Um, yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I basically Sam really wants me to be filling kind of more of a organ kind of sound.
Uh-huh.
And Scott Vestal, who I replaced, had a whole MIDI rig to do that. So he had I think he had a Strat or something with a banjo neck on it.
Hmm.
That he had a full rack of gear processing a whole like a MIDI pickup on that guitar, and then he used his solution was MIDI. I, honestly just didn't quite want to go down that rabbit hole. It's a pretty intense one. So I've been seeing if I can figure out how to make some of those same sounds, but with analog effects pedals instead. So I'm using a Neo Vent, which is a Leslie pedal essentially, really nice sounding one. And then I'm also occasionally playing through a like an envelope filter. It's like an auto wah called a discombobulator. And that one I use not it like they all have lots of different settings. You can get a bunch of different sounds. I don't like go crazy with it, but you can kind of get something more that sounds a little bit like a clav kind of sound with that. And then I get the rest of the band from the monitor in front of me. Um, yeah.
And not playing in your history isn't playing in many loud bands, I don't think, right? It's mainly acoustic, straight ahead acoustic groups.
Yeah.
How'd you get this all together? Was it in a rehearsal studio with the band, with Sam's band, or where you play
Well,
full volume and kind of tweak it out so you aren't
we
doing
did
it on
do that.
stage?
Yeah, we went to a place called SIR here in Nashville, and that was actually so. There was a video that was shot where the Sam and the rest of the band passed me this ceremonial pink cowboy hat, and that was directly after my first full rehearsal with the band, and pretty much when Sam actually told me I had the gig. Wildly enough, like he kind of looked around and looked around to everybody, and they were all like, I don't know. That was when it was official, and then they gave me that beautiful hat. Um, so yeah, I mean, but Joy Kills Sorrow towards the end of our time was getting louder and louder. I mean, I was playing with a pickup and a mic blended into a headway preamp, which is what a lot of people were using back then. It's like an English-made preamp, which sounded good for sure. The Felix is better, and the Felix 2 is even better for that. But so I do have some experience with like putting a pickup in a banjo, trying to figure out how to get it to sound good and how to get it loud. This is the first time I've had to stuff the banjo
Hmm.
consistently. There were a few, kind of slug out gigs where I knew I had to stuff it with Joy Kill Sorrow, but it was something I tried to avoid honestly for a long time because it's a whole rabbit hole really trying to like get back everything that you lose.
Right.
Totally.